This show brings the temperature of sports to a whole new level. Whether it's a local opinion or a national agenda, everything is fair game. Remember, everyone has an opinion, but only few can back it up. Now sit back, crank up the volume, and if you think you can handle it, get ready for the heat.
And welcome in everybody, Heat Ratio episode 139, fresh off tons of news in the Philadelphia sports area. We don't really have to preview the show. We're going to get into a bunch of Eagles talk, obviously. We're going to get into the Jalen Hurts effect. You see the title. Yeah, the truth hurts. I get it. You know, I'm sure we're going to have some arguments, this and that. Been having them all week, which is great. Talk about the future, which is scary, of the Philadelphia Eagles. Talk about Darius Slay. You know, there's some interesting opinions about Darius Slay. Talk about how this team goes forward from here. Is this the right move? And then we're going to little Sixers talk. We talk about my boy Vic, who I've been battling with all week. Right away, Wentz is still the franchise quarterback. Checking in. All right, Vic. Listen, Vic, I will say one thing, Vic. I don't disagree with you. Okay, again, and I think every single one of these four guys will have my back when I've consistently said on this show that I never said I was done with Carson Wentz. I specifically said last week, I think you need to take a seat. I think you need to take a break. Maybe it was mental. It's the only way. And I actually think that Carson Wentz should be starting this week. Okay, because I think that's the only way that you can get into the situation that you're not in right now. And that is, listen, he took a seat, bring him back in, see what he's got, right? And then if he definitely doesn't have it, well, then you just start Jalen for the rest of the year. But listen, man, look, I'm a hater. I watch how they switch sides. That's the problem, Philadelphia fan base, and that's what I will say. Okay, before I go, I'm going to go to you, Coach Dave, in a minute because I'm going to let you start this off. But here's the thing. If you want to love Carson, that's great. That's fine. I love Carson too. No problem with Carson as a person. Okay, but here's the thing. Don't sit for a day and bitch and complain about why Carson's been done wrong and why the franchise has done wrong and why he's hurting and, oh, let me rock him like a freaking baby. And then the next day, you say, yeah, you know what? Jalen does deserve to start. That's the good move. Are you kidding me? Dude, do me a favor. Everybody, here's the problem. I know people unfollow me because they don't like what I say. I don't care. That's a problem. I don't do things to get likes. I don't do things to get followers. What I do is I give you my opinion, and it doesn't waver. And people like, Al, what's up, Al? Second in. People know that who follow me for the last 5 years. Okay, so I will say that. They're the kind of people that piss me off. But I will say again, this is Philadelphia. Okay, and we are the most critical fan base in America. One thing I will say, I want to win. I think every single one of us want to win. So I don't care if it's Jalen Hurts. I don't care if it's Carson Wentz. I don't care who it is. I just want to win. And when do we become so soft as a fan base? Did we sell our souls that much for a Super Bowl? Did we really? Because at the end of the day, it seems like we're not allowed to be critical of anybody. People were so busy backing up Carson Wentz that at the end of the day, they didn't even care what was going on. They were so busy backing up Carson Wentz. Listen, I like the guy too. Robert checks in. No one switching sides. Carson's a great guy. On the other hand, he can't get out of his own head, and mobility has drastically decreased. This is the problem. Let's be real. The truth hurts is what I'm saying. And this is a mess, and I hate it. And I hope that we don't have to continually talk about it, but we're going to have to because it's not getting any better. Coach Dave, please help me out here, brother. What do you got to say about this mess and this debacle that we're living in right now?
So it's good to see you guys. John and Mike, I hope you don't want to talk much because I have so much to say about this entire situation.
You go right ahead. Go.
I know where I left off before with you is in telling you that the franchise is in bad shape, right? And they are. And I discussed on the air, you know this, guys, that I discussed Jeffrey Lurie and Howie Roseman at the top of the heap being the real reason why our franchise is a problem. And to get the Carson Wentz. And I just had this discussion earlier today. Let's play a game and say that Carson Wentz is, let's not use his name and say it's player X, okay? And player X is our starting quarterback of whatever franchise it is. And you just paid him last year. You increased his salary to what it is, one of the highest paid quarterbacks in the league. And that following year, the first draft after that payment, the second round, you draft a quarterback. Okay? Is that a question mark for anybody? And if so, like it is for me, I'm wondering why we did that and not getting this guy more weapons. So my point to, and I can continue on that, my point to this is people are getting wrapped up with the name Carson Wentz. And for me personally, I don't care who is the quarterback in this scenario. I honestly don't. What I think the organization did was a complete mess up on this whole thing. And Carson, and I said this out loud, and I have no problem saying it again, he's terrible right now. He is absolutely terrible right now. Okay, now let's go to Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts, second-round draft pick of this team, is getting an opportunity to start against one of the toughest defenses in the NFC. Why on God's green earth would you put this kid in to start this game? And here's my conspiracy theory and assessment of this whole thing is that Doug Peterson is giving a giant FU to leadership and say, you want him to start? Here you go. I'm going to start him. So now, as a coach, your job as a coach is to put players in positions to be successful. You mean to tell me that Doug Peterson is putting the team's best foot forward by starting Jalen Hurts this game against this defense? Why not put him in the second half? Why not put him in the third series? Why not anything but start him against this team? It's such dysfunction. I don't understand it. And it is very irritating as an Eagles fan, as a football fan of our team. And it goes, guys, if people don't see how many levels this is screwed up and get Carson Wentz's name out of their head, it's really has so much more to do than Carson Wentz. And Tony, I could go on for more, but I'm dying to hear what you think about my comments and John's and Mike's as well.
Yeah, listen, I'm gonna go right to John. I'm gonna say Goose for last because I know he's fired up. So, John, I always say as an outsider, I know you're still an Eagle fan, but I always say that because listen, I mean, I know you're an Eagle fan, but at the same time, you're a PA fan. So, but what do you see here, man? What we've been talking about this for weeks, and was this the right move? And what do you see going ahead?
I mean, yeah, it's happened in the NFL for decades. All right, there's a quarterback that doesn't perform, gets pulled at halftime. Guy comes in, maybe shows the team a spark. Who do you start next week? Well, it's one thing if it's a small slump. This is a large slump. So, I mean, look, you got to win. Goal is to win ball games, but there is a lot of politics involved here. All right, the marriage between Wentz and Peterson is over. I mean, it's one or the other. I don't think they can coexist. All right. So now it's, okay, what sides are we going with? Who wants Hurts in there? Who wants Wentz in there? Look, Dave was about the time. Why now? And it gives you the best chance to win. See what the kid got. You know what I mean? Give him a week to prepare for a game as opposed to taking whatever half snaps he did the week before and coming in at halftime when you're already in, I don't want to say like a huge hole, but the team hasn't been performing. What this team is missing, and the difference between this team and the Super Bowl, I mean, there's a lot of stuff, but it's very simple. Swag. The team has no swag. All right. There's the physical, there's the execution, there's the game planning that goes into play calling, but there's a mental aspect of it. And this team is not in the right mental state. Pick who it is. I'll use like almost a quote from the Replacements movie. All right. You're in quicksand, and the harder you fight, the deeper you sink. All right. And I feel that's the state of this team. And they need something to change, a big part of it to change for them to turn it around. But Dave is right long term. That Wentz contract, I mean, I don't know if we're going to get into what you do long term, but that's a whole nother question. But I'm fine with them starting him against the Saints this week. Even if they lose and he puts up a half decent game, I mean, you want to see something. That's the bottom line. And especially if they're seriously thinking about looking for a trading partner for Wentz, if it's that deep, then you want to know what this kid got.
No, listen, I agree to an extent. What I will say right before, to bank on, some of the comments we're getting, and we're going to get to all of them, I promise. But you cannot ignore I know people want to put up stats all day long, and they want to put up, this is what Carson did, this is what Jalen did. Okay, it's irrelevant. And I'll tell you why it's irrelevant. I don't want to hear about prevent defenses. I don't want to hear about soft coverages. I don't want to hear about when they were up 10. Here's the problem. Once Jalen Hurts entered the game, everybody in Philadelphia started to watch. Everybody on the sideline for the Philadelphia Eagles was rejuvenated. The special teams was rejuvenated. The coaches were rejuvenated. The players were rejuvenated. Every single thing that we talked about for weeks about why they needed a change was exactly what happened. And I don't care about the interception. I don't care. Listen, we could go back and forth all day long. I don't even want to talk about that. All I know is there was a little bit of energy that we haven't seen in 10 weeks. And that was the difference to me. And that's all I wanted to say. Mike, what do you think, buddy?
It would be difficult for me to disagree with anything that either of you guys said, because you all make solid points. I mean, the only thing that I can do is try to give you the irrational, emotional fan perspective. And I think I've been able to bring that week in, week out. I hope anyway, at least for entertainment purposes. But I'm going to say that my opinion is that I think Tony's right. He did provide a spark because things just started happening. And even though he has a little bit of experience, it just looked like he was making competent decisions. It really did. It looks like Hurts was doing things that he should be doing. It also looked like receivers weren't getting separation because that's the reason why he was running a lot. Doesn't look like he missed a lot of open targets, and it doesn't look like he did a lot to make the Eagles lose. He wasn't making those dumb mistakes that Carson seems to be making a lot lately. So it's too hard to say whether or not he should be the starter. It should go back to endgame. What's the endgame here? Like, why did Peterson put him in? Did he really feel that was giving the Eagles the best chance to win the game? Or was he doing it to motivate Carson Wentz? Nobody knows for sure. And I guess once we find out who starts this week, and I don't know if that's been announced yet or not, because after that loss, I mean, I just couldn't even watch anything related to football because it's just not possible for me. I'm just going to have a mental breakdown. I can't deal with it anymore. The season has been very, very, very difficult. Probably one of the most difficult seasons as an Eagles fan to watch, especially after Rieger runs that punt back and all of a sudden you think you're in the game. They brought you back. It was like, I haven't felt that feeling from the Eagles in a long time. When Hurts throws that TD pass to Ward and then Rieger all of a sudden pops up, it was just like, I really felt like they had a chance to win. Regardless of how it came out, it was a spark that was totally needed. So I agree with a lot of what Dave said. It's complete dysfunction from top down. Nobody knows who's driving the bus. Nobody knows what's going on. And his press conferences, I mean, they're so bad that you don't get anything from him. I mean, we thought Andy Reid's press conferences were bad. I couldn't stand watching those press conferences. The only thing I enjoyed is when Les Bone would dig into Andy Reid. But there you go. There you go.
Hey,
I mean,
Doug,
just
what do
look
you
at him.
think,
Look at
Doug?
him.
What do
He
you think,
looks
Doug?
like he's completely clueless. And the decisions that he's making seems to really rectify. I mean, look at that. What is that? I can't wait to get out of here.
Yeah.
Oh man, I wish I was back in Maui. I mean, look at his face.
I mean, like seriously, like think about it. Like this says it all. Look, number one, it looks like he just smoked a bone. Number two, look at his eyes. He has no idea. He looks like, why am I here?
He looks like he's in another time zone. Like he has no idea where he is.
I think he looks like he's saying, I shouldn't have ate that pastrami. That's what the face cries to me.
Listen, who doesn't want Jalen Hurts to be the next Russell Wilson? I mean, I do. I don't really care who's quarterback in this team. This goes back to my problem, though. Then you should have kept, and I know woulda, shoulda, coulda. I know, I'm sorry, but I play that game sometimes, right? I that's part of my human flaw. Why would you pay Carson Wentz? Why would you not keep Nick Foles? I mean, I know you didn't know that Jalen Hurts was going to come here, but there's so many things that are wrong here with this program that it's just like, what the hell is going on?
What was that report that came out before the game, Dave? That somebody said something about Lurie says if Wentz struggles, they're going to put Hurts in, and it was, I don't know where that came from. It was a report that was floating around, right? And you've been saying, Dave, all year that Lurie seems to be meddling. It's his fault. You were like one of the only people to say that, and I'm starting to think maybe that could be the case here.
So
speaking of which, where is Jeff? Yeah.
So Tony, this goes into what Mike said.
That's a good point.
You have too many hands in the pot here. You took the court. When you're running a program like this, you need to take leadership from one person. You need everybody else on the same page in order to be successful. And that's with a business. That's with, a lot of things in life, your household. But in football, ultimately in football, I'm going to say that everybody has to take leadership from one person. Right now, it looks like Jeffrey Lurie's got his hands in the pot. Howie Roseman's got his hands in the pot. Then you got Dougie P calling the plays, putting people together, and he's got all this outside influence that is affecting what is going on in front of you. And to me personally, I've been saying it, it's a reflection of what's on the field. It doesn't work like that. When it's in San Francisco, I'll go back to Tony's boy, Shanahan. What he's doing out there with that young quarterback, did everybody get to see Allen and Mullins, that's his name, right, play? Did you see how those quarterbacks moved their feet and they did the check downs and they did their progressions and they got rid of the ball quick? And they're all on the same page. Everybody
certainly looked like Foles. Certainly looked like Foles and Wentz in 17, didn't it? Looks like that whoever was working with the quarterbacks then, and I don't want to go back to the Flippo Reich argument because I know that pisses a lot of people off. But when you want to talk about consistency, what's not there now, that's not there. That is definitely not there.
It's tough, man.
It's just a function that is a necessity. I'm sorry, it's not an excuse. It's an absolute fact that you need some sort of consistency from the top down. That's how the program works. That's how successful programs work.
That's for sure. And we've talked about that. We've had numerous conversations about that. When there's really no bad people, right, or bad employees, there's just bad leadership. And, we've how many times are we going to say the same thing? Every week we say the same thing. All of these guys are in the NFL for a reason. Why? Because they're amazing athletes. They were amazing in high school. They were amazing in college. They don't just put bums in the NFL. Okay. So just don't tell me that everybody can't play all of a sudden. And you know what? I'm super, super curious and we'll never know. But whatever Aaron Rodgers said when he went up to Wentz after the game, and I know they asked him about it, and he's like, look, some things are just, I'm not going to say, it's just, that's between me and him. You almost got to wonder. You think he probably went up to him and said, "Dude, next year, don't worry, you'll be playing somewhere great." The management of this team is this. Yes. It's well known in the league that these guys are a dysfunctional family. That's what he said.
Yes, that's exactly what he said.
Carson Wentz just can't forget to play football. Right. He just can't.
He was saying, "Yo, they did you dirty, man. They did you dirty." That's what he's saying. We know that, and my whole point about this is I'm kind of like. I'm sad, man, because
it's terrible.
This is, right? It's very disheartening. I mean, we came into this year with, this is supposed to be our franchise quarterback, and say what you want and say about how I'm a Carson hater and this and that. I'm really not a Carson hater. Okay. I'm just I'm a realist, man. And what I seen on the field, what did I tell you guys before? And again, I'm not saying I agree with it, but what I said, if Jalen Hurts gets into a game, that will be the end of Carson Wentz.
You might be right.
You did say that.
I did. Right. But here's the thing, and this is why I think it took Doug so long, because I think Doug knew it too. Doug was scared to make this decision.
Job security.
Right. Because
he loved Carson Wentz.
Right, well, Carson Wentz is done. I hate to say it. By you not putting him into the Saints game and anointing him back to starter, he's lost the locker room. He's lost the leadership. He's done. He's done right now.
Look what happens when you have bad coaching around you. I mean, look at who was that stiff that was coaching Baker Mayfield last year? What was that guy's name? Freddie Kitchens, right? What a stiff that guy was. Oh my God, he is horrible, right? And I remember conversations that I've had with my son about whether or not Baker Mayfield was a good quarterback. And I had said when Cleveland drafted him, because how screwed up. I mean, it looks like they finally got their act together, but I was really afraid for that kid. I didn't think that, John disagrees, but I didn't think that kid was going to do anything. And he had bad coaching around him. And now it looks like he's got some decent coaching, and he's actually playing some good football.
Look what they did. Mike, I'm so glad you brought that up, because I will say something. And it made me think, okay, and one of the guys I work with, the Gambler, John Jansen, said today with Brace on a ticket, and I was waiting to go on, and I heard him, and he made a lot of sense. And he was talking about Baker Mayfield. Yeah. And he said, listen, as much as Baker struggled, and as much as he didn't look like the guy, they stuck with him. And instead of doing what they've done with Carson Wentz, what did they do? They rebuilt the offensive line. They got a brand new coach. They went out and got OBJ. They went out and drafted receivers. They signed Kareem Hunt. They gave him as many weapons as possible. And listen, I'm not saying that's the main issue, but I'll tell you what, that certainly will freaking help. And look what they're doing right now. You have a coach that's actually playing to the strengths of his quarterback. Right, he's playing to the strengths of his offense, and so yes, there is that part of me that says, you know what, I get it. There is a part of me that says, yes, you people are right. But at the end of the day, though, the problem is you still can't say that, like Dave said, Carson Wentz has been terrible. And yes, sometimes you need this, and you need to get your head right. And listen, there's been a lot of speculation about Carson Wentz. There's been a lot. The words uncoachable, undisciplined. These things have come out, right? We can't hide beyond that. We can't. And maybe like Mike said, and I don't want to go back to the Frank Reich thing. I don't want to go back to the DiFilippo thing. But everybody has their guy. Right? Everybody has their guy. We've seen it in basketball, baseball, football, every sport. There's always a coach for somebody. Dave, John, me, and you have seen it on a youth level. There's kids who don't play well for some guys. They're like, oh, this kid's a pain in the ass. He's a problem. You take him, you mold him, voila, he plays great for you. Right? It happens all the time. Right? So this is the problem. Rich, I would get some comments here. Rich says, Wentz needs to see a sports psychologist.
He might be right about that.
He might be right.
Yeah.
Right? He might be right. He also says the Browns run the football.
True.
Right? And weapons in the offensive line. We're going to get to Miles Sanders in a minute.
Absolutely.
I really want to get to that.
Rich is
I'm going to go backwards on these comments here. Al says, wow, look at what coach can do. He's talking about the Browns. Agreed. Rob says, agree, Tony Wentz is done. He rides the pine, right? If Wentz was an MVP caliber quarterback under Reich has shown the ability to adapt, as proof with Rivers. Wentz's head will spin even more when he rides the line for the next 4 games.
That's quite possible.
Right. I mean, I think he's right, man. I do. Bobby O'Mara checks in. Wentz is $60 million cap hit if the Birds cut him.
Ooh.
I disagree. There's ways around this, man. There is.
Yeah. Bobby, I hope you're wrong. I hope you're wrong.
Nick, what's up, Nick? Nick Passio. So, by the way, Nick Passio, that is the man who has done our music in the beginning. So he did our intro. So that is a very talented.
Right. It looked like a competent offense. Agreed.
Richard said, why would the Colts want a reclamation project with Wentz's contract when they could draft a quarterback? I mean, good point, right? Good point.
Fair point.
Robert says Colts and Jags will desperately need a starting quarterback next year. Reuniting Wentz with Reich can be a career revival for Wentz and save a boatload of cap space.
Yeah.
A couple more.
I'm with you.
Rich says Packers played a prevent defense as soon as the Packers decided it was close. They played their regular defense, 3 sacks and a pick. Listen, Rich, I get it. I know everybody's saying that. I understand, but listen, that's irrelevant right now. It's irrelevant. It's because it's about how the team played. It's not about statistics right now. It's not. It's about that throw that Jalen Hurts made to Greg Ward. Carson Wentz doesn't make the play. Sorry, he doesn't. Some of the sacks, yes, you're right. He did get sacked, but the difference is the mobility factor is what they're looking at. If your offensive line is bad, if Carson can't get out, and Jalen can, he makes more things happen. And Dave, you know this just like I do as a coach. What happens when you have a mobile quarterback that starts to run? The defense backs off, doesn't it? It gets a little soft, right? The linebackers like to spy a little bit. You don't do a full house blitz, right? I mean, these are the things that maybe you wouldn't have if Jalen Hurts is.
I think an important point too is the perception. The perception is, oh, wait a minute. Since we've switched gears, now the team is back, because then it just looked like confidence went up. Hurts is getting involved. We haven't seen him in. I mean, I know he was hurt, but it just looked like the Eagles of old when he started throwing the ball. Now again, we didn't see enough of a sample size to even make any type of judgment of what kind of player this kid can be. Okay, but what we did see was a big spark. Confidence coming out from everybody else, and it just looked like the offense was running as it was designed to run.
You're right. I mean, this is here's another one that makes a great point. A segue into let's talk about Miles Sanders. He says, okay, Hurts starts, he plays well. Then what? Jeffrey will still play too much. Agreed. Sanders still won't play enough. Agreed. Coaching will still be bad. Agreed. And we might win 2 games the rest of the season. And then what? How does any of that help Carson and the team for 2021?
Unless they what if they wrote the season off, though? Al brings up a great point. If they wrote the season off and you're just starting to play to see what you got, then it doesn't really matter anyway. You might as well just preserve Carson if they're going to wind up trading him. And we don't even know if any of this is true, because guess what? Is Frank Reich going to make that type of gamble?
Yes.
How come everybody just thinks that Frank Reich's just going to take this guy? I mean,
Frank Reich's going to take.
We don't know that.
Frank Reich is going to take Carson Wentz, and Doug Peterson is going to be his offensive coordinator next year for the Colts, and they win a Super Bowl.
Wow, where did that come from?
Can you imagine? Seriously.
That would be Philly luck, wouldn't it?
That totally would be. Yeah, 3 Super Bowls, Dave. You forgot. 3-peat. That would be Philly luck. Honestly, yeah, release or trade would be a 30-something cap hit. That is a fact. Yeah. That's just crazy.
Russell Wilson uses a sports psychologist. Have you seen him play? Find out who he hired and pay him double and give him a Pat's whiz wit.
No argument there.
I liked it.
I think Russell Wilson, does Russell Wilson lead the league in interceptions with 12 of them too? Is that true stat? Or am I making that up?
Yeah, I was going to say that would be
Carson Wentz, bro.
Mentioned
16.
He had 16. Okay.
Yeah, it's been that good this year.
Criminally underused. Yeah, they should seriously. Who gets thrown in jail for that one, Richard? Is it Deuce? What is that? Oh, we got to ask Deuce. That's Deuce's problem.
Yeah, like where's Miles Sanders at? I like what is the? I don't understand. I don't. I'm not getting this. I'm not getting, like, what did he do? Did Miles Sanders do something? Did Miles see? This is.
He's back with Corey Clement.
Right. This is typical Eagles bullshit, right? It's all the time with the Eagle. He said something, right? We're gonna find out eventually. Maybe Carson wasn't backed by Miles, or maybe Miles said something, and then all of a sudden they're gonna shame him and they're not gonna play like that. Like, that's great.
And meanwhile, Jeffrey's running around in the he's running around. I don't know what he's doing. He's out there, and Miles Sanders isn't.
Yeah, I haven't seen Jeff. Maybe he's with Kraft getting hand jobs.
No, I'm talking about Jeffrey.
You know what I mean? I don't know what's going on.
Alshon, I meant. Robert Kraft, yeah, he's over in Jupiter.
Yeah.
Maybe that's where Lori is.
Yeah.
They're playing golf. I didn't mean
it. I mean, what? Well, here's the thing. Talk about let's ask Doug. Doug, what do you think, Doug? Where's Miles at? Like, he's laughing right now, right? You think this way he gets? Well, what does that say to you right now?
That says to me, yes, as well. I'm not really sure. You got to ask Deuce.
Yeah. He's saying, "Come on, guys, just hug it out."
Yeah.
Come
You want to hug it out, Les?
Like,
You want to hug it out? Yeah,
we
exactly.
gave you ice cream at the end of practice. I mean, what else do you want?
True.
Listen, man, it's just hurtful.
The only thing I got to say with the Miles Sanders, like, how does he only get targeted once? Like, even if the running game's not working, how do you not get the ball in his hands? How do you not at least attempt? I mean, he should be catching 4 to 5 balls a week.
Has anyone asked him that? I don't watch the press conference. I can't. They're a joke. Has anybody asked that question? Why does Miles Sanders have 1 target?
What did he have last year? He had like 60 catches, didn't he?
Yes.
So how now all of a sudden, we're not even going to throw it to our best player?
Oh, you have a new offense coordinator.
Oh, maybe it's Press Taylor. I'm sure he has something to do with it.
Yeah, Press. Thank God.
Yeah, thank God.
Taylor.
The king of Tulsa. He needs to go back to Tulsa.
Steve says plays design.
I think they'd hire him.
Stevie V.
Nobody would.
No crossing patterns. The screen game is disappearing. That's a great point. The screen game Steve brings up. What the hell's happened in the screen game?
Deuce was one of the best screen running backs in the NFL, and all of a sudden we forget how to use. Like, you can't coach this up.
But doesn't that that's on the offensive coordinator or whoever's drawing up the plays. I mean, we still don't know because there's no title for anyone, so we're not really sure what Press Taylor even does. And we know Marty Mortonwig is on the sideline every week. Let's not forget that. That's just something that seems to just goes past everybody. That dope is still involved in the Eagles' offense somehow.
Jake Elliott should be practicing his kicks on Marty Mortonwig's balls on the sideline.
Whoa! He would miss.
Yeah. That was classic. That's exactly what we need right now. I would love. I'd actually pay a ticket to see that. I bring my face mask and everything. I definitely. I'm in, man. My sanitizer.
Thanks. Every time Jake Elliott comes up, that's the first vision I'm going to have now, Dave. That's for
kicking
sure.
Marty Mortonwig in the nuts.
Oh my God.
Steve says her feet hurts to the Wolves this week. I agree. A rookie quarterback against a really good defense with this offensive line and these skill players. Let's ruin 2 quarterbacks this season. Look, Nick says, yeah, but he'd only kick 1. Wide left.
Oh, man.
Wow. Yo, finally, Al. Thank you, Al, is finally on board. I've been arguing with fans about Doug all year, saying you can't fire him after 3 playoff appearances, but enough is enough. I'm done. He has to go. He won't be part of the solution and is a huge part of the problem. Listen, there's enough said right there. I don't even have to say anything else because it's 100% correct.
Yeah.
Here's my opinion about that, Al. I love all his statements. I agree with all of them, but hear me out for a minute, Al. If you get a new GM in here and he wants Doug here and Doug is allowed to pick his own coworkers, would you be okay with that? I mean, we're going to get to play the what if game for the rest of the season here. And what if this happens and what if that happens? Because honestly, they don't know and neither are we.
Just
I mean, like, think about it. This is like, you just, I mean, there's
so many words
right there.
So many words.
Right? I mean, like, this is what we get in Philadelphia, right? I mean, this isn't Bill Belichick just not saying a word. This guy literally has no idea. No idea.
Dave, do you think that, and this goes for anybody, I'm just curious, do you think that maybe Peterson doesn't have the control that we think he did or did at one point or does at all? Because, I mean, the coaching issue that he had when he selected his coaches to come back and Laurie stepped in and there was some miscommunication there and, drafting Hurts. Maybe Peterson just has his wings clipped, can't do anything.
I'm with you 100%.
It's possible.
I've said that before. I believe when they cut him down and didn't keep those 2 guys that he was on the podium the day before and said, these are my guys. The very next day, he got his leg cut out from him and they took them away. I believe Doug Peterson said right there what he's doing. And in my opinion, there's no way Doug Peterson wanted to draft Jalen Hurts in the 2nd round. I just don't. I don't believe it. I think Peterson loves Carson Wentz, and that's his guy. And they didn't do anything to support each other. They didn't keep them consistent. Think about what I've been talking about here. They didn't keep it consistent while keeping the same receivers and coordinator, right? Coach. You're not helping them out by drafting skilled players. What's that look like to the coach and the quarterback? I believe that there's too many hands in the pot and they're going all different direction. And Doug really has no control, in my opinion.
It just looks like a pushover on the field with his players, and I'm sure if he's that way with his players, then management's just doing whatever they want. Howie Roseman's probably like, "No, we're drafting this guy." No, yeah, I appreciate your input, but we're drafting this guy. I mean, it just looks like it. I mean, what's he have? 1 Pro Bowler out of 50 draft picks? Don't get me wrong.
Let me ask you this though, and I brought this up before that I said that I think Doug has a barrage of plays just waiting to go for Jalen Hurts, and I'll tell you what, Doug didn't seem like a guy that was a little upset that Jalen was in the game. And not to mention, Mike always talks about how I see things. I'll tell you what, nobody was talking to Carson Wentz, but I'll tell you what, Jalen had 4 coaches around him when he got off the sideline, right? Doug was giddy. Doug was whispering in his ear. Listen, there's something to be said about this flawed relationship between Doug and Carson. And I'll tell you what, Dave, I disagree. I think 100% that this was all in for Doug Peterson with Jalen Hurts. I'm telling you, I honestly think that Doug Peterson, I don't think it was Doug's idea to sign Carson Wentz. Okay, obviously, right? I think everybody. See, here's the thing: everybody's blaming Howie, but what if it's Doug? Right? What if it's Doug? What if Howie isn't the guy? Right? What if Doug? Right? Who knows? What if? Right? Think about that.
Well, then why did Howie sign him for that much money then?
Because if they are collaborative, which we obviously looks like they're not, but if they are, okay, and all 3 of them sit down and come to a decision about signing Carson Wentz, and they sign Carson Wentz. But
my point is, if Doug is the guy is saying, "I'm not want, don't sign him, don't sign him."
No, what I'm saying is, Doug went in that draft knowing in the back of his head, even though he didn't want to sign Carson Wentz, he said, "You know what? I'm going to save my ass, and I'm going to want to draft somebody right now that can be the guy." They got Nick's gone, right? Nick's gone. Listen, Doug and Nick had a great relationship.
Yeah, they did.
I know I'm not a Nick, right? I think we all agree with that. I'm not a Nick guy. Okay, but they something with them just clicked. Mm-hmm. So that was his guy, not Carson. Carson was not Doug's guy. Think about it.
I mean, it's possible. I mean, I definitely see what you're saying.
Looking at John shake his head.
I don't disagree with that, but you do have to wonder. And I saw some of that giddiness, and I saw some of that football life coming back. And the article that went around about him, all the stuff that people said. Some of the players that left the team, I mean, they weren't just talking shit. They were talking, it looks like they were talking the truth. So I just feel that whatever happened in that locker room and with this team and whatever's going on behind the scenes, I feel that has run its course. And for whatever reason of why we got here, no matter who was saying this guy plays, this guy gets drafted, this and that, there just seems to be a rebirth of energy and perception around this kid. And you're not going to win. You're not going anywhere. Nothing is going to come out of this season. So they might as well start figuring out what they can do to go forward. And I just don't think that Carson Wentz has anything left to provide for the city of Philadelphia. And I think we're all done with him. All the fans are completely done with him. I mean, if he comes back in next week and throws 2 interceptions, could you imagine what everybody's going to do? They're going to freak out. But if Hurts comes in, and he struggles, he's going to get a pass because he's a rookie. And you're going to have the Carson Wentz defenders there. And it's, everybody wants to defend. Nobody likes this situation. I mean, at the end of the day, we're all Eagles fans. And it's super, super frustrating to see this guy melt down the way that he did. But for sure, Tone, I agree with you. Something is going on behind the scenes that maybe we'll at some point be privy to. I doubt it. I mean, some stuff will trickle in, but something is definitely happening. I just think
John,
it's over.
You shake your head up there.
Because John wants him. John wants Wentz to replace Roethlisberger. Go ahead, John. You do.
Not replace, be the heir apparent.
The heir
he will sit behind him, learn how to actually run an offense and play the game the right way, because Wentz is Roethlisberger 10 years ago. All right. Wow. I don't know how Wentz lost it like he did. But I was just I couldn't help but crack up when Tony said Doug has a barrage of plays waiting to bust out for Hurts. And all I could think about is, so he's been sitting on plays, but he couldn't come up with one frickin' play in 13 weeks of football. But he's got this pocketbook of plays for Hurts. That's comical.
So you think he's saving all of his best plays for Hurts, and he's tanking the team? He's tanking the team intentionally.
I got all these good plays, but I ain't gonna do this for 13 weeks. I'm just gonna keep it in my back.
Well, no, because Carson can't run them. That's the point. He has plays specifically for Jalen because he doesn't feel Carson can run those plays.
It's possible. Things could change too. When they signed Wentz, everybody thought it was great, and it was great. And he was a good signing, fair market value. I mean, actually, if he was playing the way that he was playing, we wouldn't be complaining about his contract at all, considering what some of the top tier quarterbacks are getting paid. So at the time, it was good. But things could change really fast. All three of them could have been on the same page, talking about Lurie, Roseman, and Peterson, saying, you know what? He's our guy. We're going to sign him. We're feeling really good. And then the next year, he totally melts down. Maybe Roseman saw something that Peterson didn't see, or Lurie, or vice versa. And it's just easy to speculate. But maybe one of them said, you know what? I'm just done. I see something. I don't think this is going to go forward. They're not all going to be aligned going forward. Maybe somebody saw something a little bit different, and something could change. The NFL, right? Not for long. That's
not
the acronym.
For long.
It could change fast.
Look,
not for long.
Nobody knows who made the call to draft the quarterbacks. Nobody knows who made the call to pay the quarterbacks. All right. And so we don't know who's pulling strings. I mean, we could speculate all day. You don't know who's pulling strings or what motive they have in reality.
For sure. That's for sure.
Right.
That's the only thing that's clear.
I agree.
Yeah. It's as clear as mud.
I agree. Al says he doesn't trust Doug or Howie to help fix or give Carson or the team what he needs to win anymore. I agree 100%. Rich checks in. Look at Reeves and Elway. Couldn't stand each other, but Reeves put Elway in the best position to win. Shame on Doug and Carson if they can't respect each other to work together. I agree. Jamar checks in, and Jamar's a college guy, man. He follows a lot of college sports. So I'll tell you right now, look at this comment. Jalen has done this everywhere. Fans and players love him. High character guy and proven winner and amazing teammate. Again, this is true. This is what we've heard. All right. All of a sudden on Twitter, you see the videos, Sports Center's tweeting out the Jalen benching 600-pound videos. And all of a sudden now all these videos are circulating to Jalen Hurts. Listen, I don't care if he can bench 600 pounds. I just need him to throw a football, right? So, but at the end of the day,
600 pounds is crazy.
Dude, it was nuts.
That's just crazy.
It was a standing bench press. It was ridiculous.
Check
that out.
See if Jamar will answer this. Why did he leave Alabama?
Well, we'll talk why Jamar answers, because I'm sure, because I know Dave's adamant about this. I love it. This is what I love.
He's baiting us.
He had the most talent and receivers around him. You know who replaced Jalen Hurts at Alabama, right? Tua.
Yes, and Tua won.
Tua, but you know why? Because Tua could pass. He was a better passer, and Jalen was a great teammate and all this other stuff. But who's the best leader on the team? Typically.
Usually the quarterback.
Exactly right. So Tua steps in, and Jalen wasn't getting playing time and moved to Oklahoma and played there. So, hey, listen to me. I have nothing against Jalen Hurts. Somebody just mentioned Russell Westbrook there in the last comment.
Russell Wilson. That was
Wilson. I hope that is true. I hope that to be true. Please don't mistake my words. I want Jalen Hurts to win us 17 Super Bowls. Okay. So, but my point to this is, we shouldn't have done the other things in place, or what happened with Carson and all this other stuff. It just doesn't make any sense to me.
And it continues to not make any sense to anyone. I mean, if you just scroll through Twitter during the game, when I actually can read my tweets without being attacked by just about everybody. You can keep bringing it, by the way, because I'm here all day. Whoever wants to attack me on Twitter. It's just so funny. All of you guys, just keep bringing it. You're comical.
Wait. Let's sound it for 1 second, right? Here's the best thing I love about Twitter is, you know what I mean? You hide behind a keyboard.
Stop.
No clue. Go back to selling GameStop games. Okay, go. Honestly, at the end of the day, go back to being the buffer at the car wash. Enjoy your tweets, and come on, give me.
I don't care because look, it's fun to me. And if anybody, like I said, again, disclaimer: if anybody listens to somebody and considers their opinion on people making hundreds of millions of dollars that's named Mikey Googs, you need your head examined if you take anything I say seriously.
Yeah.
So attacking me on Twitter isn't going to prove anything. It just proves that all you're doing is engaging with a bigger moron than you. That's it. That's all I'm going to say. Moronic.
Oh, that's great. Yo, all right, Dave. Here you go. Jamar says he was with two instead of leaving. He stayed and helped. Then went to Oklahoma and did an amazing job improving his passing. College top 4 team, 3 years, and national champion.
Well, he wasn't a national champion.
I'm not a college guy.
I wasn't sure about that. I don't
think he did win a national championship.
I didn't think so either.
No, he did not.
But you know what? We're gonna go up and we're just gonna say that he did. Okay?
No, we're not.
Yeah, we are.
but wait, but what does it even matter? Right? Think about it. Who cares?
Well, you're right. Who cares is right. But here's the thing. Again, it's just so confusing and it's disappointing because our whole franchise. I started the conversation at the very beginning. Whether Carson Wentz is player X or whatever it is,
right?
Who cares? It just sucks that our Eagles franchise put us in this situation. All right. So my point and my frustration goes along those lines. We paid this guy this amount of money. How's that going to affect us next year? Or it's going to be a salary cap issue. Can we trade him? Can we get something for him? Can we help Hurts get weapons around him? If that's our guy, let's go with him and let's get him the proper things. That's all.
They should, because Alshon Jeffrey isn't the proper thing, okay? No. And the Swiss cheese offensive line and the constant injuries, nobody wants to talk about that. And I know they did something in the last couple of years to try to address the injuries by bringing in some of the top medical staff. They did. They're still getting injured, and there's something's going on there. I mean, if you really look at the data, and I'm super curious about who the most injured team was in the last couple of years, the Eagles have to be right up there. I mean, it's crazy.
They changed their whole medical staff a year ago.
Yeah, I know they did. So I know they're trying to do something. It just hasn't worked out. Something isn't working.
Right.
Well, all I know is at the end of the day, the Hurts era is here. Next week when we have this show, we're going to be breaking down what happened in New Orleans, right? We're going to be breaking down Jalen Hurts. And it looks like we're probably going to be breaking down Jalen Hurts for the rest of the season. And, because you're not going to go back to to Carson now. You've already made your point. So we'll see what happens. And unfortunately, we're going to have a long off season, boys, because we have an aging roster.
Oh, yeah.
Right? We have a lot of people.
Salary cap problems.
$60 million over the cap right now. I mean, we have aging defensive linemen.
You can't even cut your kicker. If you cut your kicker, you're going to take your dead cap. You can't get rid of this guy.
We have a major problem, and I think that's one of the things we really need to look at. But let's look at this. Let's flip the script a little bit. We're going to have some fun in a minute, but I want to ask you guys about the Washington football team, and because I want to stick in the NFC East. And coming into this year, we've all sat there and said, this is going to be one of the hardest years for Doug because there is no Jason Garrett anymore. There is no, who is the Stiff Gruden in Washington, right? There is none of these guys anymore that you can kind of just push over. Now all of a sudden, there is no Pat Shurmur, right? There's no more guy. Now Doug's got a coach because you got guys named McCarthy, whether we like him or not, still has a ring. We have guys like Rivera, who is a proven winner, right? We have guys like Joe Judge, who's comes from the New England system. And right now, I'm telling you what, I definitely take two of those coaches easy over Doug. So right now, I mean, look what Washington is doing. And what's fantastic about what they've done is the way they've built the team through the draft, right? You look at all those players that are on the field, guys like McKissick and Gibson and McLaren and Logan Thomas, Chase Young, right? Jason Allen. I mean, all these kids, they are drafting kids,
Montez Sweat.
Right, Dave, I know you were in love with Montez Sweat. I was in love with Montez Sweat. I mean, John, we talked about him on this show, and look at the big plays he makes to beat the Steelers, right? I mean, big-time plays and big-time moments. And again, this is the problem. We are so far behind. But I need to tip my cap to Rivera because just to see what he went through this year, battling lymphoma. Right, you're getting cancer treatments, going through this whole COVID pandemic, and now he's got his team ready to win the NFC East.
1 second, to add to that too.
Yes,
he went out and got Jack Del Rio, who was a head coach in this league and is an excellent defensive coordinator.
Dave, I love him.
All the right ingredients.
Not much is said about him. You're right, Dave. That's a great call. Not much is said about him. I mean, I don't know. Did you guys see his post-game speech? Did you see what he said? I mean, let me quote it.
No, tell us.
He said, making sure everybody understands this more than anything else. This is about who you guys are. We talked about going out today and playing to our ability and being the best team today. It had nothing to do with records. It had nothing to do with who you are. Only on the football field, you guys put it all out there on and played your asses off. You got to watch the video. He got everybody completely fired up. I mean, that dude didn't quit. Alex Smith, who comes back, I mean, what can you say about him? He didn't quit. Look how he comes back, and you have two of these guys at the top of the organization, because we all know, and Dave just made out that point earlier, that the quarterback is typically the leader, right? He's the guy that's on the field. He's the boots on the ground. When you have a coach and a quarterback that's aligned like that, and everybody sees what these two guys went through, they went through hell in different ways, but they went through hell. They're playing for this team. I mean, they're playing for these guys. It's unbelievable what they're doing. I mean, and I think you called it at the beginning of the year about Ron Rivera. I mean, you say whatever you want about this guy. Yeah. Talk about consistency and talking about leading a team of 57 millionaires that have had their ass kissed their whole life. That's hard to get everybody aligned on the same page. We've had that discussion several times, and they're all really the best they're all the best at their positions. Everybody in the NFL is great. We keep forgetting that. We could say they suck. This guy sucks because he had a bad week. None of them suck. They're all absolutely unbelievable. And to get this completely moving like a fine-tuned machine takes a lot of work. And these two, Ron Rivera and Alex Smith, are just crushing it. And Del Rio, nobody's talking about him. Yeah, pretty amazing what they're doing.
It is. I mean, and again, Jack Del Rio is one of those guys that, listen, he had his run at a head coaching job, didn't work, right? But he's always been a defensive mastermind. He just has been. And you're talking about two. Usually you have one, right? If you look around at all the teams, and you usually have one. But this is like you have like look at Buffalo, for instance. You have Sean McDermott, which I love, who is a guy off the Andy Reid tree, right? I get that. But who's his defensive coordinator? Leslie Frazier, old school football guy, right? This team has two old school football guys. Not many teams have that. Del Rio is an old school dude want to rip your head off. Rivera is an old school Chicago Bears guy, man. Think about that. He's a lineman. He was in the trenches. He knows what war's about. And if you can't respect these two friggin' guys, I mean, it just says a lot about your organization.
It's the Andy Reid model. Andy Reid with Jim Johnson. It's the same model.
Yeah, you know what? You're right.
It's not surprising that these guys are falling off that tree, and they're just doing what they saw.
You're absolutely right. Andre says, we talked about this in previous shows. Doug has been outcoached by elite coaches by simply getting punked with play calling. 100% agree. We knew this was going to happen, right? We talked about it. Rivera is a chess match coach, constantly counter moving until he can go on offense. I'll tell you, man, that is absolutely right. I mean, this guy went 15-1 with Cam Newton, went to the Super Bowl, right? I mean, when everybody said there was no talent around, Carolina consistently won. How did they win? Not with big money free agents. They won through the draft and little pieces here or there they put in place, and they won. It was scheme, it was culture, it was coaching,
and a guy named Luke Kuechly.
What's that? Oh man,
and a guy named Luke Kuechly. He's an animal.
Wow, Luke Kuechly. I mean, yeah, well, you know what? The thing is, too, look at some of the guys on that team. Like, you say Luke Kuechly, and, look at Greg Olson, who, Greg Olson. Right? I mean, they were synonymous with the Ron Rivera way, and that's exactly what he's going to do. Think about that. I just said Ron Rivera way. Is there a Doug Peterson way? Like at the end, like honestly, exactly. That's the problem. Like when I see a lot of Rivera. I know he's a Rivera kind of football player. Is there a Doug Peterson kind of football player? Doug Peterson sucked ass as a quarterback.
I knew it was coming. Right? I knew it was coming. I saw it coming.
Just at the end of the day, Doug Peterson sucked. Right, for Green Bay, he was terrible.
Terrible.
And then he came in here about, he's going to help McNabb along. Honestly, I'd rather you take a guy, one of the 10-year-old quarterbacks from a flag football league to help Donovan McNabb instead of Doug Peterson. Like, seriously, at the end of the day, so there is no Doug Peterson mold. That's the problem, too. Like, there's not that guy. And watch, they got a guy. They got that guy. Oakland got that. Well, Las Vegas. Vegas got that guy in Gruden. I mean, these guys, at the end of the day, I'll tell you, man, it's time for Doug to go. Say what you want. It's time for Doug to go. It's time. He's been exposed. Nothing could come of this. Nothing. And if the words are right that we cannot trade Carson Wentz, you cannot bring Carson and Doug back. It's got to be one or the other. And if you're stuck with Carson, it's got to be Doug that's got to go. Right? I mean, John, am I right here?
100%. I mean, I can elaborate, but yeah, they cannot coexist. You're stuck with Wentz due to contract and just, what the cap hit would be finding a trading partner, whatever. So yeah, Doug's the odd man out. Sorry. And I'll tell you what, this year's shot, and no matter what happens, you have an open competition next year at the quarterback position, which is probably a 95% chance is what's going to happen. And you hope that one of the two takes over. Nobody here on this podcast is, Wentz or this or Hurts or this. No, you want the best quarterback to lead the football team to wins, period. There's nobody going to dispute that. You don't care which guy it is. Just one of you two step up and have a coach be able to lead and call a game to be able to make them succeed. Whichever one it is, nobody cares. It sucks with the Wentz contract if he's not the one. But outside of that, I mean, that's what you are. You got to win ball games. I mean, cash strap, salary cap, I mean, those are still reality, but the goal is to win games. And if you have a top 10 quarterback that could do it, if either of them could show up and be that guy, it was mentioned Wilson 1.5. I don't know if that's going to be the case, or if Wentz puts together, the seasons he did from 2017 to 19. Either way, Philly Eagles make out. So.
Yeah, no, you're right, John. It's all we want to win, right? And Andre brings good points. It has a coach falling faster than Peterson after a Super Bowl. That's question. Interesting.
I wonder how long after Gruden won in Tampa Bay, how many years before he was out? Was it 3 years? Was it around 3 or 4 years?
I think it was less than 3. I do. But here's the thing, though, Dave, and here's an interesting point about that, is you look at a couple teams. We already mentioned one in Cleveland, but you look at Buffalo, look at Cleveland, you look at Vegas. Turning teams around doesn't take 4 or 5 years anymore.
If you draft well, you're right.
Exactly.
It's quick. It's a lot quicker. Yep.
If you could draft well, you could turn your team around in a year. I mean, considerably. And then you're talking a 2-year rebuild that would normally take you 6 to 7, right? Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, so it's got to be on the mind of the owner. It's got to be on the mind. It does. And Al says, okay, this answers your question. Forget Wentz. Do you trust Doug to develop Hurts? And there's your answer. He has to go. Right, exactly. Because Peterson sucks ass. So like I said, he's not a good quarterback. Right? It's like at the end of the day, right? When you think about it, we whether we, Mike has kids who have played sports, we coach, a ton of people. At the end of the day, when you want to bring a trainer in and you say, you know what, give me this guy who's been a prototypical backup his whole career and just holds a clipboard, or give me the guy who actually knows how to play football and has a lot of wins under his belt. I mean, you're always going to go with it. It's different than baseball, Right, baseball. We've always said that the best coaches, even in basketball, are the backup point guards and the role play, like the Eric Bruntlets of the world. They're the guys that Raul Banez. They'll be the guys who are like really good coaches. Tito Martinez.
Yeah.
Right? Name some names like Mark Lemke. Right. I mean, these are guys that'll be really good coaches. But in football, it's a little different. Right. In football, I think it's a little different. If you don't come from the college ranks, you got to have some credibility behind you, right?
Yeah, that's for sure.
Right. So, well, I mean, go ahead, Dave.
I'm going to – I don't know if I'm going to defunct your words there or whatever, but tell me your favorite quarterback in the NFL or coach in the NFL right now.
Who's my favorite coach in the NFL right now? Mike Tomlin.
Okay, perfect example. Mike Tomlin. I think he went to William and Mary, and he played D-back with Sean McDermott. They were roommates. Okay, so he's
not developing quarterbacks out.
Okay, so who's developing quarterbacks in Pittsburgh?
Name me your
favorite quarterback in the NFL, and who's developing him right now?
Whoever my quarterbacks coach is, right?
But my point to that is, I mean, look, I don't disagree with what you're saying. I understand, but Doug Peterson, whatever you want to say, he's coached in the league, he's played in the league. I don't know if that's a good argument. I just don't know if I agree with that. That's all.
That's fine, man. That's the best thing about this. We agree to disagree. I can't get the Doug sucks ass out of my mind. So
I'm okay with Doug sucks ass. I just don't know if you need, like Sean McVay, for example. He's pretty good. Sean Payton. You love Sean Payton.
I love Sean Payton.
I don't even know what his football history was. I couldn't be on. I don't know if he played in the NFL or he was a backup quarterback or what he was. I know his tree. He was under Bill Parcells.
Yes,
he was a Bill Parcells disciple, if you will.
They all come from somebody, man.
Yeah,
so
it's just
you know what I mean.
Real quick, I just want to make a point. I mean, look, nobody's more frustrated than Peterson than I am. But, man, we really have a short memory, huh? In the Super Bowl year, the guy basically was taking people out of Home Depot and throwing them on the team, and they were performing big time. And then everybody wants to say he was the greatest coach ever. 3 playoff appearances. He's an Alshon Jeffrey catch away from who knows what. I mean, and then all of a sudden, he's got to go. Everything just completely breaks down. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm allowed to say this because I don't know anything. I'm an irrational fan. So most of the people in Philadelphia, they want to say, oh, they're the fans that know the most. I mean, we know a lot. We're passionate, but we really don't know the fundamentals of what we should know in order to make intelligent database decisions, all right? We're very emotional. We fly off the cuff, okay?
Oh, yeah.
We know our sports, but we fly off the cuff. The thing is this. There just looks like structural problems inside of that organization because you just can't forget. I mean, this guy's been winning, he won the Super Bowl. He did a lot of things right. They did a lot of things right. And now we're saying, oh, he's exposed. We got lucky. Of course you're going to get lucky. We got lucky. We got a lot of injured players the year that we won the Super Bowl. There were so many injuries. And anybody that was coming in, remember, we're next man up. We don't need anybody. Nobody likes us. It was a cohesive message, and they were all on board. There was leadership from the top, and everybody believed in what they were doing. As soon as some of that started breaking down, everything became fragmented, and it's just a shame to see it because it's like a train wreck, and you don't want to look, but you'd have to.
I like that. It's like, what was that? Remember that movie from back in the day? No, where it was one of those like. The people were crossing the train tracks. I'm
just laughing at the comment. We are all Mikey Googs.
Oh, we are Mikey. Banned from television. Banned from television.
Yes.
And the commercial was the chick walking across and she gets smoked by a railroad. Yeah, like, you just gotta keep watching it. Like
you don't want to.
You can't look away, but you got to keep watching it. You want to look away, but you can't do it. But that's what. Dave, you ever remember that?
Oh my God.
So Dave says we all want to see, no matter who the quarterback is, win, and it just becomes easy to get
that. But I agree. Yeah.
Oh, John. Okay. Well, it just becomes. I don't want to sit here and bitch. I want to talk about really good things, but it's just so easy to say they don't know what. The thing is, they're losing close games and they're trying, and we have so much to talk about. The stuff that's going on right now, we could talk about this stuff for hours. Hours.
We could. Look at Al. Al says, we got to do this for Al. Just look at Wentz, pure talent. Now, think about what he would be under the top offensive minds in the NFL. Now, he says, now put
it back up. Al's right. Put it back up.
Put that picture. So, let's play this real quick. Before we move on, we're a little Sixers talk here. So let's play this game. I think this will be fun. So I'm gonna put a picture of Doug up, right? And I want you guys to tell me, right away, just what comes to mind. What do you think?
Word association.
Yeah, word association.
Don't think about it.
Well, before we get to that, I do got to tell you, I was on a hunt for a photo, and I found, Antonio Brown has really been getting along with Bruce Arians, and they went out and they played laser tag, and here they are right here. They got Antonio Brown. This is afterwards, and there's a laser tag. like seriously, what?
He looks like he's got a laptop strapped to his chest. What is that?
What is that? I think it's a pacemaker. I think the poor guy's like he's got a pacemaker on the sideline. I don't know, but yeah,
it's the strangest device. It looks like some sort of an adapter. An AC adapter for your car. Look at it. What is that?
That's supposed to be around his waist. That's supposed to be around his waist.
Dave, he usually does wear it around his waist, like back in the day. But now, all of a sudden, now he's got it across his chest, and he's got one in the back too. It's like he's got it's like a power pack. Like he's got a spare one in the back too. Like
laser tag.
I don't know what's going on, man.
Is that his pacemaker? Is that what?
That's what I said.
Yeah, I agree.
But
I would love somebody in the press conference just to ask him. Excuse me, Coach Arians, what is that device that you're wearing slung around your shoulder?
What is that box?
Yeah, what is that box? Oh my God, it's great. So I'm gonna put. Here's another thing too. Like I got on this picture, and these things come up. So I don't know if you guys knew, but Mike Glennon, the quarterback now of the Jacksonville Jaguars, he was like the leading role player, or he was in the lead for the leading role of Malibu's Most Wanted. I don't know if you knew that, but I don't know if you guys have seen that. But this is Mike Glennon with his gang. Like Mike, he thinks he's Ice Cube material right here. I don't know what he's thinking.
Nice.
But this is your thug. Look, he's got a Thug Life shirt on and everything. Mike Glennon doing the Thug Life. Look, he's got the Tupac pants on and everything.
Thug Life.
Man. That is your quarterback for the Jacksonville Jaguars. So here's what I want to do. I'm going to put up a picture of Doug. And I just want the first. It could be. It doesn't have to be football related. It doesn't have to be anything, right?
It doesn't have to be an insult either.
No, it doesn't have to be an insult. It honestly could be true. I have 5 pictures here. I'm going to put them up, and we're going to have a little fun with this because we don't have enough fun on this show. We've been going through hell with this team, so now it's time to just have some fun and open up before we start getting a little Sixers talk before we end the show with John CD Closet. So right here goes one picture of Doug right here, Mike. Well, what's Doug saying in this photo right here to you? When you look at this real fast, what do you think he's saying?
I mean, the first thing that comes to mind is just passive. He just looks like he's trying to deflect out of some kind of question that makes him uneasy. Passive. That's what I say. Passive.
John, what do you think, buddy?
That's all you got to say, John. Don't say anything else. That was it.
That was it.
That was it. That was
it.
it.
Nice,
Yeah.
nice, John. Nice.
That literally was it.
Awesome.
Dave, what do you got, buddy?
I think he's asking somebody, "How's my hair look?"
You know what, Dave? I was going to say, why is my hair green?
Yeah.
Because for some reason his hair looks green.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's the background meshing with the visor, but
It looks like those golf visors with the hair on it.
Andre says, damn, I didn't get my Krispy Kreme. Next question. Al says, I really don't know how to answer that question. Sorry. Isn't that the truth? Rich says, Spicoli from Fast Time 35
Spicoli.
years later. Wow. That's an awesome one.
I
man.
know that, dude.
That is great. That is great. But look at this one, Doug. All right, Mike. This is going to be a good one. What do you got for this one, Mike? I like this one. I'm gonna go right now.
I just can't. I just pick somebody else because what just came into my mind. I'm not going to say it. This isn't a kid show, but I'm just not going to say that.
Well, you were thinking along the same line. I'm going to say, I just knocked the bottom out of that. That's
Do you like that? You like that? Yeah, I just crushed it. Yeah.
That's Crusher Peterson right there, brother. That's Crusher Peterson. John, what do you got, buddy?
I'm speechless.
Yeah.
I'll just agree with you guys.
Dave, what do you got, buddy?
Did somebody say Jalen Hurts?
Oh, look. I like it. Jabbar says, I told you he was going to bench him, didn't I? Yeah, right. There you go. That's a good one. Rich is still laughing. That's a great joke, isn't it? A real knee slapper. That's dog talk right there. You have no idea what I mean. Who's in this podium? I love it, man. I love it. I'll do a couple more. This is classic right here. I'm struggling with this decision right now. I have no idea what I'm doing. I have no idea what to say. Somebody just please help. That's a call to help for me right there from Doug Peterson. What do you got, Mike?
Lost. Totally lost. Like he is in a rowboat in the middle of the Pacific Ocean during a monsoon. No plan, no direction, no nothing. He knows he's in way over his head. That's what I see. I
like that. Dave, what do you got, buddy?
I'm going to go in the direction of Mike and be a little bit sympathetic here. He looks like a lost and beaten human, and it disappoints me. It's disappointing. Like I feel bad for him. Right, that picture right there, staring at him. I feel bad for this dude.
So Rick says, "You feeling strong, big man?" Say it one more time. Les Bowen. I love it. Who pissed in my cornflakes? I like that. Whispers to himself, "Keep clenching your cheeks. The moment will pass."
Nice, Bobby.
Oh,
Real
this
nice.
is great. When did this happen? My check didn't clear on Monday.
Or Andre to say something even better. That's a great one. I hope the check clears on Monday.
I hope that they wouldn't ask me that effing question. How many more do I have to answer?
Oh, not that one. Not that one, Les. Not that one, Les Bowen. Not that one.
That's not that
That's
one.
the Les Bowen face when he used to torture Andy Reid. Shout out to Les. You're the best.
And then we got this one.
Hey, at least we got some ice cream. Hey, we at least got some ice cream. Hey, we at least got some ice cream. That stupid fucking video. I hate it. I can't stand it. Hey, we at least got some ice cream.
We gotta get the Mr. Softy music playing in the background.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my God. Next time, please, Tony. Edit the Mr. Softy behind this and just show it every once in a while. Hey, at least we got some ice cream.
Yeah. That would be like the all-time best drop right there. The Mr. Softy music. What do you got, Dave?
God, it makes me mad.
We were this close.
You're right. We were this day, and again, his arms are that far apart. That's how close he was. Right. Oh my God! Let's see what we got.
Oh, this is great.
They were who we thought they were. That is little Denny Green reference right there. Right.
We let him off the hook.
Yeah.
He's saying right now, he's just telling everybody, how many times I have to tell you, it's not my call. I have no power.
You got to ask Deuce.
Guys, did you see Lizzo's backside?
I once had a backside this big. Don't hold on, Don't listen.
Got the Mr. Softy going.
We at least got some ice cream, guys. You got some ice cream, guys.
Rich says, I just want to hug Carson this much. What's coming to my mind is I used to have balls this big, but now Howie's taking them all back.
Oh, my God, yeah.
Al says, I answered the question the only way I can answer it. What else do you want me to say?
7 years ago.
Oh my God, dude, this is funny. All right, we got last one that we can move on to some Sixers talk.
Oh God, this is the stoner one. This is where he just put. You should show the picture before when he's cleaning out the bong.
Oh, this is the best one right there. I think he just got done auditioning for a part on The Sopranos with Vito after he had some Johnny cakes.
Oh my God.
Oh no.
It was Vito, and then he went with Rawls from The Wire.
Oh, that was the best part when they show Rawls in that bar. And I don't know, because Rawls was such a bastard in that show. And then they just showed him there, sitting there, laughing, having a drink. And then nothing was ever brought up about that scene or ever again. They just did it did they do it to smear Rawls' character? There was such a crazy shot of Rawls in the background in that bar. And it was so unexpected.
It was out of nowhere, man.
God, I love The Wire. We got to do a show just on The Wire.
Bobby says when the edible kicks in.
He's probably, Doug's probably like, I got to get out of this press conference right now. Those things were too strong.
Dave, what you got, buddy? Got anything?
Nah, he just totally looks stoned there.
Yeah, he does. He really does. He does. He had a bad. Actually, I say he had a really good trip. He looks like straight from K&A. Straight from K&A.
Oh, yeah. It was dazed and confused. You know, it's Spicoli. Whoever said it was, I guess it was Rich that said Spicoli. That's freaking great. Hey, I know that, dude. That's exactly what he looks like.
Oh, man, I needed that. That was fun, man. At the expense of Doug. I'm sorry, Doug, but I had to do it, man. I had to do it.
We love
man.
You, Doug.
So
Thank you
we
for
had
the
enough Eagles talk for one night. We talked NFL. Let's talk last before we get to, because we're not doing 2 hours tonight. I'm not doing that.
I guess we're just gonna let John off the hook for that horrible upset, right? Sorry, John.
No, we're not gonna let John off the hook. But no, we're not gonna let John off the hook. You know what? That's a good call, Mike. We do. John, what the hell happened to your Steelers?
He's not getting a pass,
bro. Explain?
Come on, John.
What the hell happened to the Pittsburgh Steelers?
They played the same game they did for the past 3 weeks. They can't run the ball. They're letting teams into it. Stupid plays. I mean, there was stupid play calling. You could always
51 throws, John. 51 throws.
Yeah, that's what they've been doing. They can't run the ball. They cannot open up a hole. It has nothing to do with the running backs. There are no holes. They're trying to run the ball. When they stretch it out, they don't have the blockers out there, so they're trying to supplement it with short passes. And when it's, after doing it for how many weeks, it becomes very clear what the offensive game plan is. They can't run on us. They're going to try to do short throws to all their wide receivers, play up on them, because Ben's not even taking shots downfield. So, I mean, it's you're defending a one-dimensional team is what it is. They're very good at what they do one-dimensionally, but when you can focus only on that thing, and you don't have to worry about the run, and you get to the end of ball games, you can't run out the clock. You're throwing on first down within, under 5 minutes, even with a lead. All right. If you can't run successfully and get that first down, I mean, you look at, I think it was 3 games in a row that Fitzpatrick had to break up a pass in the end zone to save a win. All right. He did it week after week. You look at the Baltimore, you look at the Dallas game, you look at what they did this week. The game was no different. It was just, like I said, you can't count on a last possession play to, there's tip balls like what happened here. I mean, that's what it is. They have the most drops in the NFL. Plain and simple. Most drops in the NFL. Can't have it. I mean,
is that what Al's alluding to right here? He says, I love a coach that says if you don't catch a ball, I'll get someone that will. I love that.
That was Tomlin's press conference.
I love it. Love it. See, that's why I like.
If you can't catch balls, then we'll get somebody in here that can. He said, at this level, I am not teaching people how to catch the ball. I don't have time for that. He's right. These are fundamentals that you should be able to do. And I'll tell you what, the past 2 games, that has been a problem too. And Ben's still throwing for over 300 yards. Like, he didn't have a bad game. The pick was tipped in the fourth quarter. Otherwise, he passed for over 302 touchdowns. But still, you can't, run the ball. You give up a big play. Look, to their defense, they didn't play very good. They should have tried kicking the field goal, even though they had the rookie kicker. All right, that was to take the lead. You still got to kick that field goal, not go for it on fourth down. Hindsight's always 20/20. So be it.
Did you see that kicker though, John? He looked like Napoleon Dynamite's brother.
I don't care what he looks like.
Do you think he could even kick a ball? He was off the practice squad. Like, where did they get this guy from?
UCF. Rookie from UCF. So no, I don't know. I don't know what he could do, but I'm still. He made the extra point or whatever, and I think he had a field goal. So I'll take him. You know
let me ask you this though. You mentioned about the running game, right? So I seen a stat. You're going to notice better than anybody. I seen a stat that they were saying that Roethlisberger hasn't been sacked in like 18 or 19 quarters. So if they're that good at pass protection, how can they not run the ball at all?
I don't know. Very good question. I would love to know. They cannot get force and win the line of scrimmage. Plain and simple.
Well, how many times do they attempt to rush the football?
I closed everything down because I thought we were off the football.
Is that they threw 51 times, man?
Yeah. Well, so you're not going to get any rhythm.
They're running the ball like the Eagles.
Yeah.
But the problem is, a lot of times what they're doing, Ben will try to throw on first down, then they'll run on second down. And now it's 3rd and 8. You know what I mean? You're putting yourself in difficult situations.
So do they have injuries on the offensive line, John? Like Pouncey's an all-pro. Villanueva is an all-pro.
Pouncey was out this week.
That's a big deal.
Yeah, there was a muff snap. I mean, look, the offensive line isn't necessarily the problem, but they're still not good at run blocking compared to pass blocking, plain and simple. You know what I mean? And I don't know I don't know enough about football schematics. All I know is I can blatantly see there is no hole there. I don't care what running back you put back there. There is no hole to be run through. All right. So either the play calling is, and that's part of it too. If you're playing up on all the receivers and it's a run play, you know what I mean? It's almost like stacking the box anyway.
Yeah.
So, they're just playing the short game. But I mean, the biggest thing, our defense losing Bud Dupree was huge. He wasn't playing in this game.
True.
Robert Spillane, who took the place of Devin Bush, who already tore his ACL. Spillane has been playing amazing for being a guy that you think you're just throwing in there. He's really played some good football. He went down. That was a bigger killer than anything. I mean, just seeing that, but and then Hayden went down with a concussion. So
Shocker.
I'm saying,
so Spillane, another linebacker that they drafted in Pittsburgh, huh?
I believe so. Yeah.
Oh,
I don't know 100% Spillane, but he was not. I mean, he's a bench player. He stepped in, man, for Bush, and I'll tell you what, he's been playing really, really good football. I mean, not all pro level, but didn't miss much of a beat.
Well, listen, it was bound to happen, right? They weren't going to go 16-0. We knew that. We knew they were going to take a couple lumps. They've been, like you said, the last few weeks they've been really on a fine line with wins or losses. So it's bound to happen. But I'll tell you, man, they are one of the most complete teams of football, in my opinion. I know they're not number one, but let me ask you this, boys, before we move on to a little Sixers talk, before we get to the music end. I'm going to put you on the spot. I'm only asking one team right now. Who's the best team in the NFL? If I had to ask you right now, but no matter what, hands down, who is the best team in the NFL? Coach Dave, who's the number one best team in the NFL? Who you got?
I'd love to be dramatic and pick somebody else, but Kansas City.
Hey, man, there's no it's a tough argument to have against them. Right? Yeah. It really is. I mean, they are a phenomenal football team. They're coached fantastically. They have tremendous drafts that, again, guys just produce, right? And they have endless talent, it seems like. It really does. John, who's your number one team?
I mean, I would like to ditto Dave, and that's truly what I believe. But then I'm going Pittsburgh. Come on. That's like a loaded question.
Nothing wrong with that,
even if I don't believe it, I'm still picking Pittsburgh.
Well, I didn't pick the Eagles, John.
Yeah.
The Eagles aren't 11-1 either.
Yeah, exactly.
Good point, Mike.
Mike, who you got, buddy? Who's your number one team?
I mean, either one of those picks, obviously, right? But I think the Saints are just – I want to play the Saints right now. They're the complete package. The Saints are the best team in the league.
I'm with you. That's who I'm going with.
I mean, even with Brees hurt, it's just Peyton. There's just the defense. There's just too much. They got too much.
They do. They do. I'm sorry. I mean, they just, you think about what they've been able to accomplish without Drew Brees, without Michael Thomas, until finally just coming back, right? Think about the trade acquisitions. I mean, you pick up Quan Alexander. Are you kidding me?
Crazy.
You just pluck him out of San Francisco and you pair him with Demario Davis, and you have Cam Jordan on a defensive line.
It's almost not fair,
right? Lattimore, Jenkins. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. This is a tremendously talented team, and again, Sean Payton, who, even though I picked Mike Tomlin, Sean Payton's my 1A to 1B. I love Sean Payton, and he will continue to put these guys in the, I hate to say it, but best positions to make plays. And, you could question some of his antics now and then, but speaking of which, ever see that guy's workout regimen?
Oh, now, is it crazy?
It's ridiculous.
Really?
Yeah, it's insane. Like, yeah, he definitely he freeze jumps like 10 feet in the air. Like, it's nuts. And he's a beast.
These guys are freaks, man.
Yeah, really. Bobby says I got Green Bay and Kansas City as the best. What a Super Bowl matchup that would be.
Wow.
Listen, you're right. Green Bay. Everybody talked about Aaron Rodgers, right? Oh, he's done. They drafted Love. He's looking over. He's got with him and LaFleur don't get along. Were we fooled, right? Aaron Rodgers said, yeah, okay. And again, what does Green Bay do? They just win, man. They just win. It's when you have a guy, you have that quarterback, man. It's really hard to lose. It really is. Rich says Steelers draft almost perfect every year. I will absolutely agree with that. Nobody could stop Big Red Al says a Kansas City train, and the Saints don't practice with second and third teams. Everyone has a first team mentality, and it starts with real leadership. Great comment as always.
Yep.
Love it, Andre. Love it. So Andre and Al, you're gonna like this because we're gonna segue this right into some basketball talk. Got a little preview just for everybody listening out there. We are gonna have an NBA preview show Thursday night. Al and Andre are going to be joining me live on the stream. We're going to have a threesome on I shouldn't have said that. A 3-play. Oh. So, yeah, it's terrible. It's just bad choice of words, man. It really is.
Tony, you always wanted to be an Oreo. You got your chance Thursday.
Oh, man. So, yeah, I just.
And Dave pours it on thicker.
Yeah, exactly. It's going to be fun. All right. Me, Al, and Andre, we're going to break down because I tell everybody, man, heat ratio, this is a family, man. We appreciate everybody. So these guys have tremendous basketball knowledge, and I'd love to have them on the show. We're going to break down the Sixers, the NBA, the power rankings, you name it. A little preview because, fellas, we're only a couple weeks away. And speaking of which, the rumors continue to go out where I always say there's smoke, there's fire. Don't know if it's ever going to happen, but, Harden's already said, listen, I'm not showing up. I'm not happy. I want out. We knew this was going to happen. And a lot of people talk about, can he be a Philadelphia 76er? And, he's talked about being interested in Philadelphia. And listen, let's not beat around the bush right now. And we've talked about this before. And I think this is a very intriguing scenario. I'm just going to ask the question straight up. If you are the Philadelphia 76ers, and Dave, if you're sitting there and you're holding all the cards and Houston comes to you and says, listen, James Harden would really like to play for your team. We would really like to see if we work out a deal. You give us Ben Simmons and we give you James Harden. Obviously, there'll be some picks, but for the most part, it's James Harden, Ben Simmons. Do you do the deal? I know, right? I get it. Right?
I'm a Ben Simmons guy. I'm going to stick with Ben.
You'll stick with Ben.
Yeah, I think that you need Harding, Simmons, and Embiid to actually win a championship in this league right now. I think you need all three of them on one team. I do not want to give up Ben Simmons. To me, he's too young, and James Harden is 31. I'm getting 31. It's just too much, Tony. It's just too much. I'm sorry. I wouldn't do the deal. I like Harden. He scored 50 a game, whatever. And he would be a tremendous yin to Embiid yang, if you will. But, I just don't want to give up on Ben Simmons. And I don't think it guarantees us a championship. If you somehow figure out a way to get me Harden with Simmons and Embiid, I would say we're going to walk down Broad Street with those three on the team.
Now, see, I agree with. I like that. I love that scenario, right? I think we would definitely be in better shape if there was a way to keep Ben, right, and still get James Harden. But here's my issue. You know, even if that was even possible, the only way that happens is if you give them Matisse Thybulle. And I refuse. I honestly, and people are gonna. I know Al is gonna kill me for this, and so is Andre. But I'll trade Ben in a deal for Harden before I trade Thybulle. Okay, and listen, it just because of the way the team would be constructed. I have a hard time saying no, whether he's 31 years old, whether we could talk about how he hasn't won the big game yet, and he doesn't play defense. We go all around the horn. All I know is he instantly becomes the highest point scorer in Philadelphia 76ers history, right? Over the last 25 years, nobody has averaged 36 points per game. Nobody, right? So for a team who everybody tells me doesn't have shooters, for a team that everybody tells me can't score, okay, and everybody complains about Ben who doesn't shoot, even though I don't feel he has to shoot, you can instantly take a Ben Simmons out who gives you what, 18 a game, 17 a game, and you insert a guy who gives you 36, a guy who is your closer now, a guy who does end games, and now your team, in my opinion, is assembled just so like the LA Lakers, where you have Antonio Davis as your big guy and LeBron James as your scorer, and then you put the pieces around them. You can't do that with Ben. You just can't. It's just my opinion. I just think Thybulle to me is going to be your defensive stopper. He's your young kid. He was first team all defensive for a reason. The kid is a stud on the defensive side of the ball. I don't give that up. I'm sorry. I don't give that up because you're going to need that guy. Right, but I would give up Ben for James. I would do it in a heartbeat, and I would sign it right now, 100%. John, what are you thinking, buddy?
That's a close one. I mean, obviously, if there was another way, I'll trade Thybulle. I have no problem getting rid of him for Harden. If you mean that I could have those big three, go take your defensive wizard. I will. You just said influx 36 points. Is Thybulle gonna stop 36 points from being scored? That ain't gonna happen. So you look at the plus minus. I'll do that in a heartbeat. Take Tobias Harris too in his contract.
I'll Uber his ass out there
package
too.
Them and throw him a 2033 first round pick.
Yes.
Too. You know what I mean? With the way these picks are getting thrown around like crazy.
That's a good one. Exactly.
2033. We'll give you
give him 4 first round picks. Who cares?
Yeah, man. Who cares? 2029, 2030, 2031. Who the hell cares?
But I mean, I will say, look, yes, Harden would be a great addition. Does he possibly give Philly a better chance at winning this year? Probably, but and it's one of them things. You don't want to look long term. You could look too long term and end up like the Bills, you know what I mean, and never win the big one, or the Eagles with McNabb. Like, it's all well and good that you're fielding these really good teams, but without the championship, it feels empty. You know what I mean? So while the safer play and keeping your two young studs together may be that safer play, it may not get you, over the edge. I want to see what Doc Rivers can do with this team this year. I really do. So I wouldn't be ready to, pull the trigger on that deal right now. I really want to see what Doc can accomplish here. If he can bring a little bit of a different strategy to the offense and actually maybe get this team to work a little better based on the scheme, you know what I mean? So I would say, Ben for Harden straight up right now today. I'm going to go with no, because I want to see what Doc can do.
Mike, what you got, buddy?
Oh, absolutely.
So
2 seconds. I'm not a Ben Simmons guy. I already said that I wasn't. I got roasted on that, and a lot of people say, "Oh, you're crazy." Look, I think I've seen whatever I'm going to see with him. All right, that's all. I mean, I just don't think that anybody's going to get anything else out of him. I've never seen a player that's afraid with his skills that won't shoot a jump shot, that's afraid, that shoots him in practice, and you see all these videos of him draining threes, and then he doesn't do anything on the court. So I don't care all the other stuff that he does. Something isn't right in his head. As soon as he hooked up with that Kardashian chick, the dude just melted down. You look at his Instagram all day long. He says, Mr. Celebrity. He doesn't even care, dude. He said he's somewhere else. So after that happened, I'm telling you, the dude changed. He's a young kid. His head is somewhere in the clouds. I think he's uncoachable. I don't think maybe he's going to respond because it's Doc Rivers, and Doc Rivers commands respect. But I hope everybody curbs their expectations, because I just think it is what it is. I don't think he's going to miraculously turn him into some unbelievable player. Not that he's not. He just has he's got a lot of things that your typical NBA player doesn't have, and I get all that, and he brings a whole other side to the game. But me personally, if you're going to drop in Harden, and Tone, if you're looking from a point-to-point substitution effect, you get rid of it's definitely an upgrade. Yes, I get it. Ben Simmons is younger. He's going to be around for much longer. Is there any guarantee that he's going to be a Sixer for the next 10 years? Nobody ever wants to ask that question. Right now with Harden, you put yourself in a very, very strong position to be a competitor in the East with that trade. Kardashian fever or strip club city. Exactly, Andre. Yeah. Thank you.
I'll go strip club city, because at least James be coming here making it ring. You know what I mean? That's the one thing I could say. At least he'll give us something to talk about. But no, Mike, you're absolutely right. And I keep looking at the window, and that window of how long. Listen, John, I hear you. Like when you say, I hear the talk about, everybody keeps saying it. I want to see what Doc can do. That's great. So that's another year. So here goes 2022, right? So now we got to wait till 2022, because we're not winning an NBA championship this year. It's not happening. So this is going to be the transition year. Okay, that's what it's going to be. So that's another year on the body of Joel Embiid.
If we're lucky,
so
there's a good
year. Point.
If we're lucky,
a good point, Tony. Why does it have to be Ben and not Joel?
Why?
How come the question is?
Because it does nothing. The trade does nothing if it's Harden and Ben.
What do you mean it does nothing?
Think about what I think. In my opinion, the trade does nothing, again, because you want to pair your big man, your big man, your top 15 player in the NBA, top big man in the NBA, top 2 big man in the NBA, whatever you want to classify him as. You want to pair him with the ultimate scorer. What the hell does Harden and Ben do? You still got a guy who's not going to shoot.
Well, you talk about window. You're talking about window. You would have you would have a bigger window with a player that's more conducive to today's NBA and Ben Simmons than Joel Embiid. Joel Embiid is the second best center, in my opinion, to Jokic. Okay. But his window and his injury history is more of an issue and a question mark to me.
So that means you're going to have another year, though, of that of like Tony said, you're going to put another year on Embiid. Let's put it this way. The window's a lot smaller than what people think. Yes, everybody wants to see what Rivers is going to do with Ben. In my honest opinion, which doesn't mean much, again, okay, it's a little disclaimer, but my honest opinion is that he's not going to revolutionize Ben. Ben is who he is. And for me, it's just this new generation, this new player. The guy doesn't shoot the ball. It's basketball. So please tell me how that's a rational thought, that if you can't shoot a basketball, you're on. Why are you on a basketball team? Maybe, am I too old school?
He's held in pretty high regard for not being able to shoot a basketball in the rest of the league. I mean, he makes all-star teams. People consider him a top player in the NBA. Here's my point. Here's my point to it. Give Doc Rivers to the All-Star break, and then figure out if you want to go get James Harden wherever James Harden is.
Harden wants out. He's going to make a decision soon, I guess, right?
I just look at and I'm looking at Rich's comment and Al's comment, which is exactly the way I'm thinking. Rich says big man Harden pick and roll would be lethal. Absolutely. Al says a trade won't work unless it's Ben, center and shooter inside out, and that's exactly what I was going to say. The reason why you trade Ben to get James and not the other way around is because now you start the ball on the block and you work it in to work it back out. Now you're working it back out to a guy who averages 36.5 points a game. A guy could shoot it anywhere on the floor. We don't have that right now.
Who averages 36?
36.
This is crazy.
And consistently.
Crazy.
Consistently.
Who's done that?
And Joel Embiid's going to be okay with not starting the offense through him? Because that's where the offense starts through.
Listen, at the end of the day, I think Joel wants to win. At the end of the day, Joel just wants to win, man.
Maybe now he does. He hasn't taken his health serious and taken his condition seriously over the last couple of years. He hasn't. He just came out this year and said, I owe it to the fans. You really owe it to the fans? He's owed it to the fans the minute since you got here. Because we with his ankle injury, and he didn't. How long was he out for? I mean, come on, man. He owes it. If anybody owes it to the fan base, he owes it. He owes it. He owed it seasons ago.
So if there's the thing, if that dude wants to win you a championship, he doesn't need James Harden. He's that dominant. He's that talented. Prove it.
Well, right. Listen, we all forget.
As long as he doesn't play Al Horford.
This is a kid who's had no basketball guidance. Right? This isn't a kid who's been playing basketball since he's been 8 years old. This is where he grew up. Where did he grow up again? Where I forget the name.
Cameroon.
Cameroon. Him and Pascal Siakam, right? So, listen, I give him a little bit of leeway, right? And I also give the fact that I think this was a very undisciplined team under Brett Brown. And I think you will see a little bit of a change with Doc. I think, when you have a guy, one thing Joel Embiid, I can say, at least from the outside looking in, is he's a very respectful person to, his elder statesmen, to all other players. Like I think, coaches, things of that nature. I think he is that kind of way more than Ben. I do. I think that's more than Ben. I don't think Ben really respects anybody, to be honest with you. He respects Ben. That's about it.
Of course not.
Right. Ben's a me guy 100% all day, every day. Again, it's a reason why I don't like Russell Westbrook, but that's for another show. But there's a reason why Russell Westbrook has been traded multiple times. When you're that good and remember I said that to you, Dave, the other day, we were on the phone. Listen, if you're that good and you get traded that much, you're a problem. Okay. You're a problem. People don't like you. Okay. There's a reason why Duke gave you the middle finger at the basketball game. Okay, because, sir, you are an asshole. Okay, Russell Westbrook, I've watched Russell. Listen, like Mike says, I watch little things. Listen, I watched Russell Westbrook when I've sat on courtside at Sixers games. I watched him consistently walk away from team huddles. I watched him consistently throw players out, not talk to anybody, sit by himself, sulk like a little baby. That's Russell Westbrook. Okay, and I think that's why he gets traded all the time. I'm not afraid to say that. I do, because I don't think a lot of people like playing with him.
I mean, I think it's pretty obvious. I mean, why would they play anybody that produces on the basketball court the way this man does? But why would he get traded so many times? For what reason? There's obviously a problem there.
Absolutely.
He's a butthole.
Well, exactly.
You think Ben Simmons is a me player like Russell, or are you comparing Ben Simmons and Russell Westbrook?
Yeah, I'm saying that Ben has a little bit of Russ in him. And, I remember, I'll go back to, and I don't want to call the guy out, but a guy that I worked with before. And when we, went to LSU and actually went to school with Ben Simmons. And the first thing he told me was, you ain't going to like this guy. First thing he says, look, he is not a Philly guy. You guys are not going to like this guy. He's all about him. He is an asshole, sir. That's what he said. This is what, and again, listen, I don't know. Listen, the guy has no reason to lie to me, right? I mean, I'm just saying, it just, that could be his mentality. Listen, a lot of people that think I'm an asshole too. That's fine. I got the name Jigsaw for a reason. I get it. But I just think that there's a reason that when you're a professional athlete, there's a reason why you have to, you have to get away from that kind of conduct, because not only does it not help the team, but it doesn't help yourself. Because I mean, look, you think Russ, how can Russ be happy? He's flopping around all over the place. He's not going to win. Right? You went to Washington now, bro. Like, I understand they got a nice young team, but no matter where you go, you're not going to win. Right? And no contender is traded for Russell Westbrook. That's
what more of an armpit in the NBA is Washington?
I will say this, though. Washington has a lot of young pieces. The Wizards are an up-and-coming team. They really are. They do have – listen, man, they have some nice young pieces out there. And I think – listen, I am intrigued to see what Westbrook and Bradley Beal – Bradley Beal is one of my favorite players in the NBA. I would love to see – I am intrigued to see those two together, but we'll just see.
Bradley Beal is going to hate him.
Well, yeah, well. Al says that's not true. I got to know what Al's saying. That's not true. If he's talking about my Ben Simmons, Andre says Ben is Hollywood, but so is Clint Richardson, and he won a championship with Doc. There you go.
Good point.
I mean, there you go, Clint Richardson. Wow,
he pulled that one out.
Yeah, very. That's Andre. Al, they're basketball guys, man. That's why they got that NBA knowledge. But John. It's about that time. We're gonna get right into this.
Let's do it.
Let's just go right to the CD rack tonight. We're an hour and 45 minutes. Goose has got his phone ready. You got the paper down. I think we've already established. Listen, we are going to talk more NBA for everybody listening. NBA preview show, Heat Ratio Sports. Al and Andre, I'll get with you guys about a time, see what's comfortable with you guys, and we'll roll for about an hour. Talk all NBA on Thursday night. So. Bust out name, bro. He said Al wants me to bust out a listen. Again, I'm not a name person. I'm just telling you honestly that I have a guy. And again, you got to remember something, Al. This is the kid who went to school with him.
He knows a guy.
Got a guy.
Yeah, I know a guy. And he was there getting his master's degree at an older age. Put it that way. And I mean, so maybe it's just it's the demeanor. Maybe it's the age factor. I don't know, but I'll tell you what. Some of the stuff that he said, it kind of looks like that, right? It kind of looks like that to me. Just saying. I'm going by body language, brother. Going by body language. All right, John.
Let's go.
Let's roll this. So Andre's already getting in with a 411. Andre's got 411. Oh, Al says no. I was talking about Andre. Okay. All right, well, we, Al, and Andre are going to have some good times on Thursday. That's for damn sure. We got Mike.
This is going to be a tough one. All right. Give the range again, John. I want to make sure I get this right.
1 through 5, and then 1 through 30.
That's what I thought. It was 30. All right. So we're going to go 5, 25.
Oh, I like that.
And if we pull something out, that's it, man. 525. I'm going to play the number, John. That's
Dave,
an instant winner.
Let's go rack 2, number 1.
Dave likes saying rack. This one is for Doug Peterson. We're going to go 420.
Boom.
Wake and bake, Dougie.
Yeah, we're going to go Doug Peterson 420.
All right.
Wake and bake.
Could you imagine after a loss knowing that he has to go and deal with questions from guys like Howard Eskin? They're not gonna let him off the hook with easy questions. Howard Eskin, they're all gonna ask pretty tough questions. I mean, nobody really kills him, not too much.
No,
he killed Andy Reid a lot more. I mean, Doug gets a pass because he did win the Super Bowl. So I feel like the Philadelphia journalistic community may go a little bit easy on Mr. Peterson, but I think if he keeps losing, his luck is going to start.
Who got thrown out, Mike? Remember Remember who got thrown out of the press box? Was it Jeff McClain?
Was it
or was it Les Bowen?
It was either Les Bowen or Jeff McClain. I forget.
Somebody got thrown out of the press box.
Didn't they fight each other? Didn't those two go after each other?
Something happened.
I remember Les Bowen and Andy Reid really getting into it. I don't know if he was thrown out or not.
Hey, John, we got a late entry, 5-4 for Al, 5-4.
Take your earbuds out.
Oh, yeah. Look, can he reach?
I could see 5-4 from here.
Yeah?
5-4 is Joe.
Fat Joe?
Wow, that's an R&B joint.
Oh, I thought he said Fat Joe.
I want to know. Is that I Want to Know by Joe? Oh, yeah, Rich says it was less. It was less. So what do we got here, John? This is Al's pick, right?
5-4 was not Joe.
Uh-oh.
That was 5-3.
Oh, God.
5-4 is Montel Jordan.
Oh,
Wow. This is how we do it?
No, this is, I think, just a single.
What
So
song
what is it?
Right.
Who did
Featuring
you-
Slick Rick. I
I was
like.
going to say, who's the other guy on the cover? Slick Rick. Wow.
Montel
So
Jordan.
Montel Jordan and Slick Rick, really?
Called I Like. Yes. That's the 5-4.
There's no way you're finding that, Googs. That doesn't exist.
Oh, it's here. I already got it. Yeah, I queued it up already. It's here. Listen, hold on. You guys remember this?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I remember this.
Yeah, I remember that. Oh, this is a great song.
Yeah, come on. Nice pull. Nice pull. Nice pull.
Look, Al even said it. Al's like, they did a song. I know. Look what fun. John's got secret money over it.
I don't remember Slick Rick being in that song.
Me
at
neither.
all.
I love
Neither
that.
Slick Rick.
Good one.
All right. Andre, 411. We got the Bad Boys soundtrack.
Okay,
Ooh,
that's a good one.
The Bad Boys
That's a good one. Yeah,
That's
yeah.
a really good one.
What was that?
What was
There's all kinds of stuff
Mercy,
on there.
Mercy.
Yeah, that's it. Oh, that's a great song.
Yeah, that was my jam.
You got the Brat. Let's see.
The Brat.
Yeah, Inner Circle. You got Tupac, Me Against the World. So
Hey,
Many
I was
Ways
thinking
with Warren
Brat.
G. I mean, you got a bunch of stuff in there. That was a pretty good soundtrack.
It's great. All those
Yeah,
Bad
good.
Boys.
It was missed that G Funk stuff.
You say Tupac, Me Against the World?
Tupac and yeah.
Oh, it's one of my favorite jams. Too. Yeah,
John, you had a very interesting group of. I don't think you struck out yet.
You guys said Tupac, so that was
Machiavelli.
Yep. That's Mike.
What number is that?
Like,
That,
Oh, wait,
that was
is-
525.
yeah, that's you, Mike. Is Pac alive? Is he? Remember that was like he came back as Machiavelli, man. Great song.
That's my poll.
Now we're
Nice.
we're gonna get a little strange a little bit.
Oh, here it comes.
So Dave with 2-1. We got some Rob Zombie.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Nice.
Rob Zombie.
This was the double disc. I think
Give me something on there.
This is I think present and future. This was like a greatest hits.
I can't name one Rob Zombie song.
I see Hellbilly Deluxe. Hellbilly. What?
Hellbilly.
Rob Zombie. Yeah.
Oh, that's the jam.
There you go. Yeah. Rob Zombie.
Wow. Didn't Rob Zombie make a Halloween movie or something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
House of a Thousand Corpses.
Yep.
He made a couple. He was involved in the 2007-9 Halloween remakes. He remade the movie Halloween.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought. Okay.
John said that was the jam.
Yeah, nice.
That was the jam.
John, I think that is the first rock heavy metal track that you have picked up. It's been all rap and all R&B so far. So let's see what else we can add to this eclectic mix.
Well, this is going to give you a nice blend of them both. So Tony, 420,
Doug P.
Judgment Night soundtrack.
Oh, that's Doug Peterson's truth right there. Judgment Night.
Oh,
Judgment Night soundtrack.
I
I
can't.
think it has Ice-T on it, does it?
Helmet with House of Pain.
Oh, Helmet. Oh, my God.
You got Disorder, Slayer and Ice-T, Cypress Hill and Sonic Youth.
Living
Ooh.
Color and Run DMC.
Living
Onyx.
Color.
Pearl Jam and Cypress Hill.
Is that Onyx?
Yeah, is that on this soundtrack?
I don't think
I
so.
remember Onyx.
Oh,
Sticky
Onyx,
Fingers.
Sticky Fingers.
I Love You, Mary Jane, Sonic Youth, and Cypress Hill.
Yep.
I remember that song.
See, I don't remember- Yeah, Mary Jane.
So does,
Nice.
so does Dougie P.
Yeah, Dougie P knows a lot of that. Let me tell you.
I wouldn't be surprised if he's actually doing that. Poor Doug.
Poor Doug. Poor Doug. But
Hits
Is that
from
it,
the
John?
bong.
Yep, those are the 5.
Cypress Hill, Rich Texan, Cypress Hill. Listen, Cypress Hill, Rich, I'll tell you what. We were going to talk about this, but we ran out of time. We'll talk about that. But we're talking about underrated, whether it be underrated artists, groups, R&B, rap stars, MCs. Cypress Hill, my lord, man. I'll tell you what, when they were just a change up. Yep.
Mikey, cue up hits from the bomb.
Right? What's that?
Hold on, Tone. I'm going to cue that up, and you're going to put on the picture of Peterson.
Yeah.
That's what. Oh,
poor Doug is getting killed tonight. Poor Doug. Oh, this was the best thing. I needed this.
My Doug is a white.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see Doug sit with Marty Morningweg sitting around and Press Taylor.
Hits from the ball.
What does Press Taylor even look like? Does anybody know what Press Taylor looks like?
No.
Does he exist? Is he a figment of our imagination? Did Howie Roseman make him up?
What do you think he's doing right now? You got to start off next week's show with a picture of Peterson in this.
Oh, yo, here you go. This is Rich Texas says, "Do the Dougie." Do the Dougie. I remember that song.
Do the Dougie.
Do the Dougie. Andre says, "I'll be impressed. Anyone could name 3 cities in Arkansas without using Little Rock. Got to ask Doug this at a press conference."
Well, thank you, Andre, for the question, but we're gonna have to get Deuce involved. He's usually involved. He usually takes care of that department, so we'll talk to Deuce on that one.
Bobby O'Mara says Weezer is underrated. I loved Weezer.
Oh yeah,
Weezer, great group, man.
Are they still active?
I think they are.
Yeah.
Weezer, wow.
Weezer. That was that alternative scene was so underrated. People don't talk about that enough, and we talk a lot of rap and hip hop on the song. But that alternative scene where like Green Day came out and it was like unbelievable. It's a group after Smashing Pumpkins, and a group after group just took over.
What year was that? Like when that all hit? Was that early, like late '90s into the mid 2000s, or
I think it was like mid '90s, like maybe like 95, 96.
Yeah.
Right, John?
Even a little bit earlier, maybe, like even around
like
93, 4.
Yes.
Yeah,
Nirvana.
Nirvana was 93, 94, right? But then when all that happened, I was just knee deep really into hip hop because that was the golden age.
Me too.
Like I missed all of that genre, all of it. I didn't listen to most of it.
That was the issue. The hip hop was so good that we didn't really want to listen to anything else, And when somebody did, it was like, wait, what is that? Like, I'm listening to Woo Wear, bro. Like, I you know what I mean? Like, yeah, I mean that was a difference back then. It was the Biggie. It's funny. I was scrolling through. It was like nothing says hip hop than watching Biggie, MC and Juicy, at the 1993 MTV Spring Break, rocking a pair of Timbs, jeans, and a sweater. And it's like 95 degrees out. Like that was just that was hip hop back then, man.
Yeah, but you have to understand when that was happening, we were just coming off the ride from Dr. Dre and the Chronic, and that's when Snoop really came on board. So when Biggie started bringing most of the action back to the East, Wu-Tang Clan already started it around 93, and that sort of was because it was all West Coast up until that point. So you figure between 90 and 96, 97, there were so many amazing rap groups out. I mean, it was all over the place, and we were getting hit with all this different type of subgenre into the rap movement. It was amazing. That'll never be duplicated. I don't think.
My crowd, where we were into the alternatives rock.
Now, Dave, is this sound? Andre says 97 to 2003, and Bobby says 98 to 2002. They sound about right. I think that's kind of
high point for 98, but it definitely started like I remember distinctly when Nirvana came out with "Smells Like Teen Spirit," and that seemed to be like Pearl Jam and all those groups like that. Chili Peppers.
Really started.
it really started to hit the mainstream. And for me, we listened to rap, but not as hardcore as you guys did. And our group was into alternative. And
Right.
That's because you were Fox Chase, so you were closer to the suburbs. I was I was a hood. I was all straight hood, bro.
Yeah.
I grew
Same.
up in the hood.
Same.
Yeah, me and Mike were from the ghetto, man. We that's what we lived on.
There wasn't anything else. I mean, you didn't even have a choice.
Nah, it was getting high, getting smashed, and listening to rap. I mean, that's what we did. Yeah, I remember making mixtapes all day long with the dual cassette deck. Like that's all I did. I just wanted to make mixtapes.
Some amazing music came out of that genre, and you're right. There was no internet. I mean, you just had tapes and you had dubs, and that was it. And if you had vinyl, you were really lucky. You were really in a good position because you would get all the tracks before they even hit some of the airwaves. So that was it, man. This was before everybody was online, And if music made it around before there was an internet, it was good.
It says what Andre says. What people don't understand is Nas was 91, 92 with Illmatic before Biggie dropped Empire.
I think Illmatic was 93, 94, Andre. We might want to check that. 91, 92 was pretty much, that was at the end of 100 Miles and Running was the big thing with NWA, and that's when Dre dropped The Chronic. And 91 also was the third album, I think, that NWA made after Straight Outta, maybe after 100 Miles and Running, and then it went straight to, I think Dre Chronic was end of 92, beginning of 93, and that's when NWA completely fell apart. He might be right. I thought that 93, 94 was Nas. And I thought right around that, 95, 96 was when all the Southern stuff started, when Outkast dropped, and that whole genre started. But you got to check the math on that, sir. I might be wrong.
That whole genre, like you said, with the Outkast, was that remember that opened up the dirty South, man. That what I mean, with Master P, Juvenile. I mean, they were coming out. They were like, what? Like a
whole other style of music.
Daddy, Trina, that was some off the chain shit right there, man.
Yep. And then I think, do you guys know who has the most rap albums? Who made the most?
Who? Like
what artist has the most rap albums?
MC Hammer.
What artist has the most rap albums?
Yeah, this is not something. Now I came across this not too long ago, so I want to say not too long ago, in the last couple of years when I read this. So I don't know how. I think it still holds water because I don't see anybody cranking out albums the way this guy used to crank them out. And I was not a fan of him. I was not a fan of him.
Look at the Mikey knowledge, man. And Andre says April 94. You're right. So
yeah,
there you
that's
go.
what I
You're
thought.
right.
That's what I thought.
So wait, Mike, is this an artist or a group?
This is an artist. Yeah.
I'm going with.
I'm going to throw this out to everybody.
I got.
Don't Google it. Don't Google it.
No, I got two ideas. I was going to say Cool Mo D.
No, it's not Cool Mo D. But he did crank out a lot. You know what? I was never a Cool Mo D fan for whatever reason. The Wild Wild West. I never got into that. I don't know what that was. That was a weird time for rap.
It has to be a rapper that was mainstream. So like
LL
Cool J or something like that.
Well, if I say this, it might give it away, but I'm going to say it anyway. He was mainstream for a certain area. Somebody's got to chime in with this. This is not an easy one. I read this and I'm like, wow, this guy went right under the radar for me.
You're making me think now, like really think.
Nelly.
No, Nelly, no. I kind of like Nelly though.
Man,
you want me to give you want me to sort of nudge you in the right direction? Because I think if I do, you might get it.
No, I don't. Because you know what it is? It's one of those because you put it out there like it's a hard one. My mind's going like, all right, dude, it ain't this guy, it ain't this, but
it's not somebody you would think. Because when I saw it, I'm like, really? I just wasn't into him. It's some stuff, but maybe towards the end of I don't think he's making music anymore. He might be. Who knows?
Ghostface?
No. Well, he's definitely one of my favorites.
He was dropping albums like crazy.
He was like crazy, especially like later in his career. He dropped a lot of stuff that I had not listened to, and I recently dug in on Spotify, and his older stuff was better.
Yeah, Ghost dropped a lot. You know what? My last guess, I'll say, I originally want to say Eminem. But then he left the game for a while.
Yes. He's got a lot, though. He's got a lot because he dropped a new one. So I don't know where this stands, but I'm just going to say West Coast.
Ice Cube.
Nope.
Snoop.
Nope. You're not gonna get it. West Coast.
West Coast. It ain't, and it's not Cube. It's not Dread.
This guy is a legend on the West Coast. Yeah, I know.
Too short?
Yes.
I thought so. Okay.
Yes. Too short.
I forgot about Too Short, man.
Yeah,
Too
and
Short was the truth back in the day.
It's something crazy, like 15 or something. Nuts.
Really?
You got to look it up. Yeah, 12 or 15 albums, just cranking them out.
I'm glad I got Too
Players
Short.
basketball. Players basketball one. Wasn't it? Isn't that Too Short?
Yeah.
I wish it was
blow the whistle.
I wish it was a little bit taller.
No. That's Skilo.
Oh, my bad. My bad.
That is
John.
Skilo.
I'm
Well,
sorry,
look
John.
at these
I
names
love
we're
that
getting
song.
though. Like we got Jay-Z, DMX, E40.
Blow the whistle. Yeah, Too Short was straight up.
Too Short he was hardcore. He was gangster rap.
Yeah, he was no joke, man.
No, he
But
wasn't.
I never really got into him. I don't know why. Maybe some of the stuff that he did later on in his career I dug, but I wasn't like a fan of his. He's got so much music on Spotify. It's crazy.
It is. It's ridiculous. It is. I like I said, every night till I mellow out, I just watch so much and listen to so much. I love I will end, but I watched anybody checks it out. I'm a big Chris Brown fan. And it's a shame he was a wife beater, but at the end of the day, he
made a lot of music.
Unbelievably talented.
Yeah.
And he does a medley. Like I like doing it. I like searching the medleys, and he does a medley. I think it was from like the 2012 Soul Train Awards.
Right.
And I'll tell you what, man, it was for 8 minutes, and he hit like every song from the beginning to the end. It was fantastic, and it just shows you how deeply talented that dude is.
Yeah, for sure.
You know
Wow,
what
2
I mean?
hours.
Crazy. But let's end that. We went 2 hours and 5 minutes, man. I think we could actually have a show of just music.
We probably
could
should
talk music. We've really got to think about adding that because a lot of people like music. It would be fantastic.
We should.
Maybe we'll do something where we do some music and we get some. I work with a guy who has a lot of up and coming new artists and on labels. Like get them in, see what their music's like, and kind of see who they idolize and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
And we still have to get Scott Storch in.
He's the. Yeah, we got.
I want to see John question Storch about some of his wild and crazy parties in Beverly Hills. That's for sure.
I'll tell you what. I was working hard trying to get B West on the show tonight. I actually got a message back from him. I was trying hard because I told him, we legitimately talked about you saying cars can't read a defense and this and that. I'd love to get you on the show because he was going back and forth with people all day long on Twitter. So I was like, man, but it just didn't happen. So
that's
maybe,
okay. Hey, whatever, man.
Keep my fingers crossed, man. Maybe one day. But
for sure.
But listen, as always, man, thanks for everybody checking in. Heat Ratio episode 139, fantastic show as always. We went all over the map like we always do. Look, Trevor said, I know a guy if you need some indie rap. I love it. Trevor, keep that up, man. I would definitely be intrigued to find out a little more information about that. So we'll keep those lines of communication open. But as always, listen, all we do is we want the Eagles to win. Yes, the truth hurts, but we want them to win. At the end of the day, for Coach Dave Dixon, Pittsburgh John Coker, Mikey Gooks, Tony Jigsaw Cotillo, join us tomorrow night. Me, John, Jason Sullivan, Dan Green, Heat Ratio Sports Fantasy Firebox. A new episode will drop tomorrow night. And again, Thursday night, the NBA preview show, myself, Al, Andre, we will get it, and we will talk power rankings and draft and everything. So bring your NBA game. As always, stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll catch you next week.
Peace.